So I watched a brand new 2025 German thriller on Amazon Prime, and this is about a call center operator helpline for women who are feeling unsafe. The line is open at night from I think it's like 8 p.m. to like 2 a.m. And if women feel like they're in danger and they want to call someone to stay on the phone with them, to give them advice, to just feel comfort, whatever, they can call them. And so this this girl and this guy get in contact, right? The guy is the operator and the girl is the one who has the call come in, and they're talking, and she says she has been targeted by the calendar killer. The calendar killer is the name of the film, which I did not mention, but I'll mention it now. You can read the title. But she is talking to him, says that she's, being targeted, and this is all over the news. People know about this killer, and he's trying to help her through it. One of those types of movies. It's a phone call between two people. He's at a distance. He's not able to be there with her. He's only able to just kind of talk her through things. This was maybe one of the most frustrating watches I've had in a long time. This was like not on the same level of frustration I had with Speak No Evil, but it was getting close. And most of that happens at the end. So in the beginning, I was pretty into it, right? It's this. So the way the calendar killer works is he gives these women an ultimatum. It's her life or her husband's life. She has to kill him or the calendar killer will kill her. Now, for any Batman fans, this is not the calendar killer from Batman. In The Long Halloween, if you guys have read it. Great comic. Anyway, moving on from that. So there's something that happens. And now I had guessed the twist of the movie very early on. It's pretty obvious. I'm not patting myself on the back. I think probably a decent amount of people will guess it pretty early on. And I knew exactly the motivations, and I knew everything. Like, I was like, okay, this is why. It's a pretty obvious setup. And I was fine with that. I didn't care. I was just along for the ride. But then something happens, and a character is left to make a decision that honestly is one of the easiest decisions of all time. And they do absolutely everything in their power to not do the right thing. In my opinion, okay? Now, this is where the film may vary for certain people. But for me personally, I don't know really honestly, I guess I understand the message of the movie, but they shoot themselves in the dick so many times where it's like I just don't find it plausible. It's possible, of course it's possible, but it just feels so forced. Now, I am going to talk about spoilers really quick, so if you haven't seen the movie, you can shut it off right here, because I just genuinely can't help but rant about this because it pissed me off so fucking much. So, warning, and here we go. So, spoilers. Did you hear me? You're good? Okay. Of course, the helpline operator ends up being the calendar killer, as expected. I knew very early on when the call came through and she's like, I didn't call you. And he's like, it's not possible for me to have called you, this and that. And I was like, okay, whatever. You talk to women who are battered and have, an abusive person in their life or somebody who's stalking them or whatever. And you track them down because you get their phone number, you get who they are, you ask them for their name, you track them down, and then you tell them, like, I'm going to force you to get out of this abusive relationship, right? Because he is somebody who deals with this shit on a daily basis. He's tired of listening to women not do anything about it. And in fact, they even have a conversation where he's like, I don't understand why you guys don't leave. And she's like, codependence and blah, 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 right? And that's all true. And that's all fine. That's not fine, but you know what I mean. Like, it makes sense to the film. So we're going along, and I'm like, all right, he's going to get revealed to be the killer. Let's go. Let's get to that point. The shit this woman's husband puts her through. He literally takes her to a nightclub that she does not want to go to like a sex club, an underground, like invitation only, rich elite sex club. She gets in there. She's super uncomfortable. She's like, I want to leave. He drugs her drink and lets dudes fuck her. She gets raped by her husband's own, actions. He purposely lets her get raped, beats the shit out of her. And then when she's gifted, this is a gift, in my opinion, this killer who's going around and forcing women's hands, and he looks into their life. He's kind of like a Dexter. He just doesn't do it himself. He forces them to do it. He wants them to break the ties. He wants them to commit the act. And so he's forcing these women to do it while he's getting the proof. He puts cameras in their house. He makes sure they're abusive. This guy is a fucking monster, like a monster. The way that they show him, we see it happen multiple times. This guy is scum of the earth. I have watched people kill people in other films for 10 times less, and I still was on their side. This guy, her killing him, is one of the easiest decisions of all time. She is being gifted this. Now, yes, some people are just like, I would never kill, I'd never do it, no matter what, blah, blah, blah. That's fine and all and well, right? But this woman has a child who she cares deeply about. And she decides she's going to kill herself to protect this guy. She's like, I can't do it, so I'm just going to kill myself so he can live. And her daughter is going to grow up with this guy. She's going to kill herself to protect this guy and leave her daughter without her protection with this monster. That's her plan. Then the calendar killer talks her out of it. She then goes, gets abused by this guy. She gets picked up by a taxi driver who stops the car, and he gets his ass kicked. The husband finds them, pulls up, beats the shit out of the cab driver, beats the shit out of her, takes her in the car, blames all of the abuse on her. He's like, you got to stop provoking me. It's your fault. You're the one. And then he fucking grabs her and he's like, well, why didn't you leave? And then she's like, sits there and like says something, and then he grabs her and he pulls her hair and he punches her and he's like, you're never fucking leaving me. You understand? So it's like, she doesn't have an out. She can't leave. He'll fucking kill her. Right? And you don't think that he's going to do that to your daughter when you're dead? Do you really not think he's going to turn? She even says like, oh, he's a good father, if you can believe it. No, the fuck he is not. No, the fuck he is not. I don't care how wonderful he is to his daughter. If you are beating your wife, you're a shit father. Period. Plain and simple. You cannot abuse the mother of your child and be a good dad. That's not possible. So the fact she said he's a good dad is like, it's showing the abuse, right? Okay, like I get all that. She has like, battered woman syndrome or whatever it's called, right? She's like defending him and whatever. But then in the end of the movie, the killer is forcing her to kill him. He comes in the house, he reveals himself. He's holding her, hostage. He's holding her at like knife point. And he's like, kill him or I kill you. And she refuses to do it. And then even tries to attack him. And then he comes at her. And only by the grace of God, basically, the calendar killer's father, who he'd kind of been working with, had figured out by looking at handwriting on the TV or whatever and seeing who the calendar killer was. He tracks his kid down and kills him right before he can kill her. Now, his whole aim in this, his entire aim in the game, is to protect these women. Now, is his logic flawed? Is he, not the best of people, forcing a woman to kill her husband? Is it like some, altruistic, amazing act? in my opinion, and kind of. But okay, like, of course, I see the argument. No, it's bad to do these things. Yeah, okay, I get it. But the fact that she's literally willing to kill herself for him, and then when she's at knife point, she still tries to kill him, and only because a guy walks in and shoots this guy, literally 1 second, movie, convenience, shoots him through the head right before. And then the big reveal at the end is that she got him recorded on tape, just the voice, by the way, no video or anything, no evidence, even though the calendar killer probably would have that evidence at his house and have a bunch of recorded footage of her getting beaten, and the cops would be able to secure that footage and view it and take that guy down. So, nor here nor there. But the end of the movie reveals that she recorded that little conversation in the car when he hit her and is like, "You're never fucking leaving me," whatever. It reveals him to be a bad guy. But that plan is null and void when you die. So if she would have died, which she was willing to do, her plan wouldn't have worked. So the whole message of the film of like, don't kill, it's wrong, and do the right thing, and take your husband down the legal way and the right way, that wouldn't have worked had the killer killed you, which he was going to do, and the only reason you survived is because the killer's father just so happened to walk through the door Dr. Loomis style and shot him right before he could finish the job. So this whole plan was shit, and you were willing to die for him, never having been able to send out the evidence, because to my knowledge, unless I missed it, I didn't see her send it off. Now, if she would have sent the information, now, if I'm wrong on this, then that fixes a bit of an issue I have. I still hate it. I still fucking hate it. Like, this guy is garbage. And yeah, seeing him carted off and going to jail and all this stuff, honestly, just like a tape of him threatening her, I don't think that's going to do much. Like, would he like be shunned in the public eye, right? Like, would he lose in the court of public opinion? Yes, 100%. Well, maybe not 100%, but you know what I mean. Like, most people, right? Some people are fucking assholes and would be on his side because they're awful. But would he go to jail? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's enough. Just a recorded audio message of him being like, sounds like he's roughing her up, but then she's being attacked by the calendar killer. So then the lawyer of the dad could, or her husband could be like, no, she sustained those injuries from the calendar killer, and in the car he was just mad and yelling at her, and he's just letting off steam, and he was hitting the steering wheel or whatever. Like, this is not an open and shut case, in my opinion. You don't have a smoking gun. If she had video of him hitting her, right, then maybe, but even then, she needs to send that out. But she's still, even if she did send it out, she's still willing to die for this guy. She's still willing to give her life for this guy. And what happens when she then leaves that video? Like, let's say she sent it off and she dies, right? Let's say she sent the video off, and in her mind, she had sent it off, and she's like, well, he's getting taken down. But then she's going to die for him. And then what happens? She dies. He goes to prison. Her kid goes into the system. You really want your kid to be in the fucking system? The killer gave you the perfect alibi. He forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to kill him. And they're like, well, I mean, it was her or him. I mean, I don't know. In court, I really genuinely feel like they'd be like, yeah, maybe she would get charged with something, but if a woman is being held hostage and at knife point, it's like, kill your husband, I'm gonna slit your throat, and we have a pattern of killings like this, and like, there's no way she'd still be able to be a mother to her child. She'd still be around. He'd be dead and out of the picture for sure. I don't know. Just everything that happened in this movie pissed me off. That all of that shit is insane to me. The fact she was willing to kill herself. If that phone call didn't come through, her plan was to kill herself. She was gonna gas herself in the car and then leave her kid, because she didn't have a video recording of him at that point. If the calendar killer didn't call her on the phone, she would have killed herself and left this guy with the kid after he raped her. You're going to leave your child with a rapist? What's the fucking message of this movie? What the fuck are the filmmakers trying to say here? God damn it, I hated this film. God damn it. I actually was like okay with it because at first it felt like a 90s thriller. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of like Sigourney Weaver's Copycat or, you know, The Net or something where someone's like kind of in their house and then the bone collector or Denzel's in the bed and he's communicating with Angelina like as she's out on the case, you know, that kind of like distance thriller where you have two characters who are only talking over the phone booth, you know, stuff like that. Now that one's, I don't think that's the 90s, that's like 2000s, but whatever. You get my drift. But God, oh my God, I haven't been pissed off by a movie like this in a while. I literally had to shut this off when it was over and pretty much scream at Kaylee about this because she was at work and I was sitting here and she got done with work and I was like, you've got to listen to this. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't watch that. That sounds so frustrating. And it's like, yeah, like, anyway, if you guys saw it and you're still here, or even if you didn't see it, I have a feeling a good amount of you are like, if he says it's bad, I'm just going to listen. And now you're like, I'm so glad I didn't watch it. There will be some people who are like, no, you know, I'm with her. Like, I would never kill no matter what. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm not here to shame any like murder shame people. You wouldn't murder somebody. But the way this is set up, the message that they're trying to convey, I don't know, man. This seems like a very ill-conceived picture. This seems like this chick was, she's just so frustrating to watch. Anyways, I'm done. It's a bit of a rant. I haven't ranted in a little while about a movie. I typically don't like to do it, but when a movie pisses me off this much, I had to. So much so I clipped my lapel mic here. I'm not even holding it because I was like, oh, I know I'm going to be moving my hands a lot. I'm going to be pissed off. So, anyway, that's that. Let me know if you watched it. I hope you didn't. And if you did, let me know in the comments if you were as frustrated as I was. And don't forget to subscribe. Somebody told me, like, hey, man, you just got to remind people. I know it's lame. I'll keep it for the end of for the end of this, but we are trying to grow the channel. It's been a long time. We've been doing this for almost 8 years, and yeah, we love you guys for supporting the channel and everything. And if you're new here, you know, consider subscribing. We do reviews all the time. All right, guys, let me know. See you in the comments. Adios.